everyone, it is Lucretia, the Brave Agent, and today we are talking about working with sellers. So if you're ready, let's get right into it. Okay, so you're an agent, and let's say you're a new agent and you really haven't had any clients. You haven't had any sellers. Maybe you've done a couple transactions with buyers, but you really haven't had any interaction or meetings or consultations with sellers. So today we're going to go over how to work with sellers, what you should do on your consultation appointments, and some pointers that I think that will be helpful for you and building your clientele. So the first thing you want to do when you are introduced to a seller or you come across someone who is looking to list their property is you want to build a rapport. You want to really have a conversation with them. Maybe at first it might not be real estate related. Maybe you know someone who is a family member or friend and you kind of know that they're thinking about listing, or they have a life change. Maybe all of their children are grown and they're leaving the house and they might need something smaller. Or maybe they, just had a baby and they are looking to get a bigger house. So you need to really build that relationship with them. Let them know that, hey, I am an agent. I am available. I am accepting new clients. But also not be really salesy. So no one likes a salesman. You go to a car dealership and you're just looking around and you just have the salesperson hounding you, right? No one likes that. Nobody likes that. So you don't want to come across too salesy or throwing yourself in their face. You want to really build that relationship with them feel comfortable with you, and help them understand their options, right? A lot of people don't know their options in listing their home. And, in this market, a lot of people think that their homes are worth a lot more than, the market is telling it that it's worth. So having that information handy is really critical with gaining that client right then and there. I know a lot of people come and ask me, so how's the market? I have a sticker on my laptop that says, ask me anything about real estate. So you have to have that in the back of your mind, certain stats about neighborhoods, what is selling hot in one neighborhood and what is kind of coming up in another neighborhood. So having that in the back of your mind is really key with gaining a seller client. So you have a consultation scheduled with a seller, you're doing a presentation, and you need to know what to do, right? You need to know what is the most important thing that you need to have in your arsenal, and that is a CMA, a comparable market analysis, printed, ready in color. Having the comps to show homes that have sold in the recent months is really going to open the seller's eyes to say, oh my God, this agent knows what they're talking about. So, of course, if you are a part of any MLS, they have this ready available for you. You can find comparables. When you put the subject property in the search, it'll pop up find comparables. But you also have to be very, very diligent to make sure that these comparables are very similar to the subject property as far as bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, sometimes even the lot size, and really the updates as well. So if you're selling a home that is in the $400,000 price range, and it has 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a finished basement, it has, all these other amenities in it, you want to find properties that are very, very similar to it. Don't want to go to a listing and this person has a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, half finished basement, and then have comparables for a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, unless you have to really go outside the neighborhood to find these comparables. I would say stay in the neighborhood that you can. Maybe go back a little further. Maybe you're going back as far as 3 months. Maybe you have to go back as far as 6, 8, and maybe a year. And if that does not help, then yes, go to next door neighborhoods to find these comparables. But having that readily available is a game changer, because in the back of everyone's mind, of course, they think I made all these updates and all of these things and my property should be listed at this much. But when you do a comparable market analysis, and in Cincinnati, we have the RPR, which is the Realtors Property Resource. It kind of makes your report pretty, but it also gives a really good estimated value of the property. And it goes off of the comparables. Well, it goes off of the homes that have sold that the report is pulling from everything that is listed and sold. But you have to be careful with this. You still have to look over the report and make sure everything lines up. You don't want to present a report that does not match their property. You don't want to do that. Go back in the history of the property to see, who's owned it, how much they've paid for it. Look at old photos. A lot of times you type in the property in Google or Zillow, it can show old photos of the property to see what updates the seller has made. Maybe they put a new roof in. Maybe they put a new furnace and AC and water heater. They've put new windows in. All of these things, they do increase the value of their home. Don't get me wrong. But putting new floors in is not going to be something that will boost the property up $20,000. New floors is great, but also you have to bring facts. Everyone loves facts and numbers. Be confident in the range of pricing that you present. I would never say, we should list it at this solid price. Give them a range. Say, your home is valued at $250,000. Homes in the area are selling at $240,000 to $260,000. So I do think that we should select a range through that and talk through that with them. Make sure they feel comfortable with that. And if they say, I want to list at, $300,000, but something in the area is selling at $300,000, you're going to have that tough conversation and say, the market does not reflect that your home is valued at that much. A lot of times, if they don't budge, then we have to walk away from the transaction. But always bring facts, always bring numbers, and be confident in your CMA. Appreciation rate. So you take the purchase price that the seller paid for the property and you subtract that by the market value. So that number that you get, you divide that by the purchase price, and then you'll get a decimal number, and then you multiply that by 100. Completely confusing, I know. Sellers know the appreciation rate of their home. Boost confidence in them and say, oh my God, my home has went up 80% in appreciation in the last 6 years that I've owned that property. And honestly, they will really look at you as a market expert. I can't tell you enough that numbers speak volumes. When you go in with numbers, when you go in with confidence and say, hey, this is how much your home has appreciated, and this is how much you can really, having an appreciation value, you can really drive home that I am the trusted advisor that you need on your side to walk away in this transaction a winner, right? You're going to walk away with the close to the amount that you want to walk away from, and you will blow them out of the water. Complete a seller net sheet. So the seller net sheet is the breakdown of all of the taxes and commissions and all the things that the seller will have to basically come out of pocket during this transaction, and the bottom line number that they will walk away from after all of these things are paid for. You can complete this beforehand to kind of give them an idea. Of course, a lot of the components in the seller's net sheet may change, like the taxes, but they will have a great idea of how much they will be walking away with at the closing table. This is extremely exciting. It's super easy. And in your MLS, and if you have any questions about that, reach out to your broker to learn how to complete this. I may even do a video on how to complete a seller worksheet. If you want me to do that video, leave a comment below. Let me know. Like I said, it's super simple and you can really do it at your consultation. You can do it beforehand, but it should take less than 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. You are at a point in your consultation that your seller may have asked you, well, how much is your commission, right? You have to have that conversation. And of course, sellers will come back and say, oh my God, that's too much. I can't afford that. And honestly, they can. They have to, right? As real estate agents, we have to eat. We have a family. We have bills as well. We cannot market their house pennies on the dollar, right? We're going to do all this work for them. We're going to list their home. We're going to hire a professional photographer. You might even hire someone to do a area view of the home. You're going to maybe put a little bit of decor in the home. You're going to do an open house. You're going to market on social media. Maybe you do newspapers. Maybe you're going to do a social media ad. And guess what? All of these things cost money. You have to explain that to them. You know, I have a wide varieties of ways to market your home. You don't want to take the cheap way into this because that means I'm not going to be able to meet your expectations and bottom line. So we can take away some of these things that you may not need, but my commission is from in your commission percentage. Because once again, this is our job. This is our bread and butter. We have to be confident and let them know that I will sell your home. I will do my best to market your property, to sell it within a reasonable amount of time to meet your deadlines. Look them in the eye, say this, give them every single thing that you're going to do for them. And if they still insist on cutting it down 1 or 2%, and just explain to them, which one of these services would you like for me to cut? We don't have to have a professional photographers. I can walk through the house and take video. I take a picture on my phone. It won't be great quality, but hey, that saves you money. Would you like for me not to have a open house on, you might have an open house scheduled for 2 or 3, days. Okay, well, we can do an open house one day for 1 hour. Okay, instead of me running ads or doing marketing, what I can do is just do simple mailers and mail them out in your neighborhood. It won't reach a large amount of people, of course, but we're going to save you some money. And when you start talking about cutting down some of the services that you provide to help save them money, then they're going to be like, oh, no. I want all those things. Well, this is my set commission to have all of these things completed. And it's great to actually have a breakdown of all the services you provide to help them understand that, hey, this 20 things that I do on this list is all a part of my marketing strategy and the best way that we can sell your home. So when you really start talking about it that way and they're like, well, yeah, we're getting what we pay for, then that conversation won't be as hard. And they'll be a little bit more open to paying your full commission. Because when you're a seller's agent, part of that money goes to your brokerage and another part goes to the buying agent, right? Unless you're a dual agent. You don't get all that money. And it's okay to have that conversation and let them know that this money is not just going to go towards in my pocket. It's not going to go in my pocket. It's going to go towards my brokerage. It's going to go towards finding you a buyer and the buyer's agent's commission. So when you explain all that to them, they're like, oh, okay, we get it. So when you go to your listing appointment, always, always, always bring your sign. Have your sign ready. I don't care if you don't think this person is going to sign the exclusive right to sell contract with you. Bring your sign. Bring your sign and bring your lockbox. Because if they do sign that, right, you can get on the phone and call a photographer and have them come the next day if the house is ready. But if they're not quite ready to list a property that day, you can still put a sign in their yard and say coming soon. But you have to be extremely careful, because I don't know about everyone else's MLS, but in my MLS, you have about no more than a week, 5 days, 4 to 5, I think it's 5 to 10 days to actually get that home listed and active in the MLS. But you can still put a sign in the yard and have the property listed 4 days after that. Whatever they need to do, if they need to just hurry up and straighten up, if they have to power wash their house, they have to do something, very quickly, you can still put a sign in their yard and say coming soon, and then market that in an MLS is coming soon. But please make sure that you meet the timeline within your MLS, because you do not want to fine. All right, so you're in your contract with your seller, and you have to keep your promises. So if you promise to have an open house within 2 days, you have to have that open house. It doesn't matter if you do not have the time. You find another agent, you pay them $50, $100 to do that open house for you. If you are an agent, a new agent, and there's another new agent that is looking for some business, talk to them and say, hey, if you do this open house for me, you can keep, the buyers. Say you can have the buyers from this open house. If you want to find another agent in another brokerage, I know this might be something that a lot of people are like, oh no, I've done an open house for an agent from another brokerage. It's no big deal. I worked out an arrangement with her. Everything worked out great, but that is an option as well. Do not limit yourself. Okay? Do not feel that you have to walk this straight line and you can't veer off the path, because the whole synopsis of your career is being innovative, being creative. And when you're working with sellers, they expect you to deliver on these promises. If you tell them that their home, it has a good chance of selling in 30 days, guess what? They're looking for that house to sell in 30 days. So you have to come up with creative, innovative ways to make this happen. And have that conversation with them about, if the home does not sell within this amount of time, maybe we have to visit reducing the price of the home. And I know a lot of sellers don't want to have this conversation, but having that conversation up front will prepare them for the harsh reality of your home isn't selling. And you can revisit why. Look at the feedback from the showings. Maybe the home is priced too high. Maybe the home just has certain features that aren't favorable. Maybe a lot of it is outdated. There are a lot of homes with outdated kitchens, and honestly, kitchens sell homes. So if the kitchen is outdated and a lot of people love to cook, guess what? That's not going to be the home for them. You might have to do an update on the kitchen. There are very, very great innovative ways to do a facelift for your kitchen. So don't feel that you're stuck with, this outdated kitchen, or you don't have the money. If you got an IKEA, honey, go to an IKEA and get some cabinets. You can go on Pinterest and find great ways to paint your cabinet doors, right? A lot of people do that. So there are ways to update your home to sell faster, but you have to have that conversation with the sellers. All right, that is all for this video. If you found this helpful, please leave a comment below. Let me know, what are some of your experiences when you've worked with sellers? Have you worked with sellers? If you haven't, let me know that too. Maybe we can chat and come up with some ways where you can get that business. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.